Today, we are introducing new categories designed to meet and support Canada's evolving needs and reflect our government's determination to attract the best talent to Canada.
You saw the announcement. Yes, IRCC is making changes again. In fact, in our conversation with the minister, she did bring up some of the things that were coming up. And I'm excited to try this new format where we made a really cool presentation for you that will be shared over here. You can follow it with me as we go through it together and try to make sense of what's happening and, most importantly, how you can use this as an immigrant in Canada, be it an international student, a postgraduate work permit holder, or any other status that you have or are trying to get, how this leads to your permanent residency for you to stay in Canada. Okay, first of all, so again, Minister Lina Diab announced how there's going to be new categories in the express entry selection. And for you to fully understand what this means, I want to explain the before and after. So before, the old way of express entry, we had everybody in the same pool. They were competing on experience, education, language skills, and so on. That would give you a score, and then whoever scores the highest with a certain threshold would get selected. And as you know, pre-2023, international students had a direct pathway through Canadian experience class because that Canadian experience gave them a higher threshold and a higher opportunity. But now, the new way, express entry has become sectoral. So it's not enough to just be eligible with your 1 year of experience and language scores, but you also need to be within the government priorities. First, they had 6 priorities, then they added more. Now there's 10 priorities with the recent change. We'll talk about what those priorities are and how you can kind of reverse engineer from that. But yeah, let me know if you like this format, first of all, because it's pretty new, this presentation type thing. But I think that we can kind of, go through it slide by slide, essentially, and try to simplify this complex new framework. Again, so now that you know how the selection has shifted, let's talk about the new, what we call VIP list, or who the government prioritizes. So now I want to focus on 2 categories and then leave the dessert for later. First, researchers. So you can see NOC 41-200 and NOC 41-201. So these are professors, researchers, tutors as well. And later on, I want to show you how to specifically go in depth, because this is just a NOC group. But how do you actually make sure that your job, specifically your job, is on that list? We'll discuss that later. Senior managers. With senior managers, what's interesting is these are all CEOs, CTOs, CFOs, C-class executives. VPs are also here in these NOCs. And as you can tell, there's now 4 groups. So I would say there's a big focus on construction here, and also health, right? So these are the ones that the government across the country likes, provincial government, federal government, but they can also fall in a wider scope of things. So what does it mean for you specifically? If you run a business or if you're part of a startup, oftentimes you wear many hats, and because of that, you could be a VP of something or even a C-class executive. So see whether that can be aligned with where you stand and see if you could have that experience accumulated. For this, you would need 1 year of experience. Now, what's interesting is that experience has now doubled. So for category selection, they wanted 6 months before, and now they've made it 1 year. So no more 6 months. We're looking at 1 year of experience. 1 year of experience is doable, especially for Canadian experience, for those of you who are in Canada on your work visas or It could be postgrad work permits, could be other work permits, but you cannot accumulate this as a student. Remember this, not on your student visa. Okay, now next. This is the third category, which is very, very interesting. So do you see how here we have these three groups? So we have the commissioned officers, specialized members, and operations members groups. What is kind of peculiar to me is that if you follow the cycle, right, if you start here from the first one, you need a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces to get a PR. So it's not just 1 year of experience. And that experience in itself for this category is 10 years, which is insane because most people would not have 10 years of experience in the military. So we can see that this is just for certain classes of military occupations that would come with a lot of experience, and then they would get an offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, or CAF as we call them, and then they would have this avenue to be eligible for their express entry for PR. But what nobody is talking about, it seems, after this announcement is that the announcement is just a menu. It's not a guarantee. So one thing is to be eligible, but another thing is to be drawn and invited to apply for PR. And to prove what I mean with data, here's what happened over the last year. There was no STEM draws, no agriculture draws, only one trades draw and 2 education draws. The rest, French and healthcare. So what are you hoping to achieve with this? The question, right? The question is in the execution. The question is, yes, you may be eligible under the new categories. Maybe you're a VP of something, or you're a tutor at a university, a research assistant. But what will be the threshold, the CRS cutoff, and whether the draws would happen whatsoever, right? So that's something to pay attention to. Another interesting thing I find here is there's now no predictability essentially in the system, which kind of undermines the whole thing. But we'll see, maybe the government can stabilize it sort of. But if you look at data, there was no FSW, Federal Skilled Worker Stream draws, starting April 2024 for 2 years now. So if you are outside Canada, unless you get a PNP invitation by a province, or you come here first as a student, get your postgrad work permit, or get some kind of closed work permit, there's pretty much no avenue for you to immigrate and stay as a PR in Canada. Now, here's my call to action for you, immigrants. Stop relying just on rules and start playing the odds. There's 3 things you can do, which is audit your job. There's a cheat code I'm going to share, and the In Canada advantage that we call. So let's start with the first one. You need to audit your job. And this is where something interesting happens. So you need to understand the difference between knock code groups and your actual job title. So let me give you an example. Say that you are targeting one of the new added senior manager category. For this one, I'm going to find knock 00012, which is for senior managers. I'm going to go in Statistics Canada, open the broader knock group, which in this case is senior managers, financial, communication, and other business services. And I'll see that there's a bunch of different job titles, right? So you could be a CEO, you could be a CFO, you could be company president even. You can work as a engineering vice president in financial communications and other business services. So there's a lot of things you could be doing, say at a startup, and you could do these roles. And then the question is whether your role matches the required duties. So at least 50% of the duties in your job offer have to match the Statistics Canada knock code here. So you would need to see that alignment, not just pay attention to the title. Another thing is, again, you have to be working in Canada legally, accumulating this experience. So just remember this, and also audit your job, compare the title with the duties, and see if those match, and whether you would qualify through this particular category. Now, a cheat code for immigrants these days is French. And I'm not just talking about what you heard before, where, you start your French classes and then in a year or two you can qualify for PR. No, but there's something in between. So when you look at the way it goes, you start learning French, and then in about 6 to 12 months here, you would then reach your NCLC 5 for most cases, which gives you this very unique opportunity, C16 work permit. And C16 work permit is actually really amazing because you can get up to 3 years of work experience in Canada extra, because that's a closed work permit. And to qualify for this Francophone mobility work permit, you need to get to your NCLC 5, which is, again, doable for most people within about 1 year. Now, after that, what happens is you would then take another, say, 1 to 2 years and get to your NCLC 7, which is what you need for PR to qualify through the French express entry draws. The question becomes, can you get to your NCLC 7 within that time? That's up to you, how fast you learn, how much time you're committing to this. Within our French school, we're doing regular as well as intensive classes in a group. So if you are interested, check out this QR code, scan it, or go to the link in the description, and the cohort is opening. So if you want to try to learn in a group setting, you're welcome to join us, or there's also individual classes. And again, the beauty of it is that you need to break it down into steps. It's not just, straight from 0 to PR for French, but there's also this intermediary of potentially getting a work permit, and for that you need to speak French at NCLC 5, which is pre-intermediate. Next is the In Canada advantage. So the rule is that the CSC and PNP are the only consistent pathways now. Being in Canada is your biggest advantage. So yeah, it may be tough, but it's almost impossible for immigrants outside Canada. So the exception here for people outside Canada, however, is these groups. So we're looking at no Canadian experience, which is phenomenal these days in express entry. So if you are, say, an aviation transport pilot, you can qualify. Mechanics also qualify. So I would highly recommend that you look at these options. And again, if you manage to get a PNP nomination, that could also be almost like a guarantee. But again, PNPs are a whole other subject that we will dive into some other day. Now, the next one that I want to talk to you about is, how do you future-proof your career and PR? So not just immigration, but also how do you get good paying jobs down the road? There's 3 groups I would highlight that align with government priorities and also labor market needs. So what the country actually needs. And those are healthcare, trades, aviation. Look at the screen here. Check if you would fall under one of these groups. I think that there's a great opportunity here for you. And also French speakers. Of course, French speaking category is huge because you've seen the draws. If we go into express entry category selection right here, we will see that, first of all, the most recent healthcare and social services occupations, 467, which is a very low CRS score compared to the regular Canadian experience class. We can see on Feb 17th, it was 508. But French language, super low, 400. So you can virtually do any high skilled job 1 year, admin assistant, accountant, bookkeeper. You can be even a cook at a restaurant, but with French, you would qualify for PR because it aligns with the broader government strategy. Now, what is the bottom line? Adaptability is more important than points. You need to be adaptable to the workforce needs, to labor needs, and government needs. What that means practically for you watching is, if you're an immigrant, express entry has become different. It's no longer a merit system. It's a government selection tool for their current priorities, the current agenda. That's why it's important to be able to transfer skills, go into other roles, maybe go back to schools. There's a lot of folks who reskill, upskill, who get into early childhood education or continuing care assistant programs. Those are some examples, but there's also other examples. And it's important, very important to immigrants to be able to connect, build your network in Canada that will allow you to get jobs that will help you qualify. And even those closed work permits, it's easier to get a closed work permit and stay for an extra 3 years in Canada, extending your status if you have a pre-existing network of business owners, of industry that realize your potential and can offer you to adapt to what immigration requires. One cool thing I want to give you at the end is prjobs.ca. So as you can tell, it's one thing to find a job, but it's another thing to find a job that leads to PR. That's why our team built a translation layer, essentially a way for you to know what jobs lead to permanent residency and apply for them specifically there while finding the recruiters' emails, contacts of real people who are hiring for those positions. So if you're curious, go to prjobs.ca. I'm also going to leave a link in the description below the video, and share it with all of your friends, share it with immigrants, because this has become a new way. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like below. Let me know about this new format in the comments if you enjoyed it, if I should do more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.